Today on Pots and Trowels I'm going to be summer pruning a Wisteria, and that's brought to you with the support of Cobra Garden and Allett. Hello and welcome to Pots and Trowels when I'm up a ladder again like I was the other week. This time though I'm summer pruning a Wisteria. Now if you remember back into the winter we were pruning this very same Wisteria, doing the winter prune to shorten the spurs and just to take out some of the dead wood from it. But what we do at this time of the year is to do the summer prune, and that's to reduce the long new shoots that it's made. And as you can see, it is now full of foliage. This is an old established one that's been here on this wall for many years, so quite old and gnarled and full of character. But what it does after flowering, and this one for example, when it has flowered, we've got the seed pods on here, so they are where the old flowers were, look like runner beans. It is a member of the legume family, of course, so we can take those off. You don't have to, but I like to when I'm going round, simply because I find that especially on a young Wisteria, if you leave these seed pods on, then what it's actually doing is using energy that you want to put into flowering and growth for next year. So unless you want them for decorative reasons, because they'll hang on through the winter, I would take those off and get rid of them. There's absolutely no point trying to sow the seeds in there. And these aren't ripe yet, but they are, when they do develop in there, they're not ripe enough to show you. They look like a runner bean. You could grow them, but you won't get the same plant. It's what they use for rootstocks. So what I'm going to concentrate on really is the pruning of this now, just to keep it in check, because if you leave a Wisteria unpruned in the summer, it just becomes a tangled mess of long stems that all intertwine and twist in, and this is the sort of length of growth it will make, even longer than this. So this is what's been made this year. What we want to do is to cut these back unless you need them to tie in. So if this were a young Wisteria, then what I would probably do would be to, tie this in horizontally to a stem. And in fact, you could, if you wanted to tie it in back to this old one just here to get some flowers lower down. So I would tie that in with a few pieces of string, and then we would eventually get flowers hanging down there. Once you've got your framework, either a trellis or a fence, or in this case it's on a wall on wires, then it's all this new growth that we get at this time of the year that we cut back. And what we're going to do is trace it back to where it grew, which is in here. So this is the spur, what we call the spur here, where we cut back to last year, and now we're going to prune this back. So this is all the growth, and normally you would cut it back to 3 or 4 buds. It doesn't matter if it's a little bit more, like that. So we can see there we've left the short bit of new growth just a couple of inches, and then we cut this long one off. And I'm going to do the same with that one, and in fact all the way along where we've got these new growths. It's just a case of working your way all over and cutting them out. Some are longer than others, and what that will do is it will leave those little short growths just here, which we call the spurs, and it's on that the flower buds will grow next year, and they will hang down from this spur here, and then next year we'll put on another long growth. So we'll repeat this next year. Over time, of course, like with this one, it gets further and further away from the wall, and what you can do is then in the winter you can, if you want to, you can give it a bit more of a prune and prune it back, and that's exactly what we did last winter. So what I'm going to do now, it's just a case of getting up here, going over it. If work on a ladder, be careful, prune it back, and be safe, and just tidy it up so that it's not going to be flopping all over the place. So there you go, it just shows you how long some of these growths can get just in one season. So thank you for watching Pots and Trowels. Remember, you can watch all our videos that we've done on YouTube and on Facebook. And next week we're going to be out and about looking at a community garden. So we'll see you then. Bye.